Alright, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting day mathematics. Warm-up number 92 is on the screen. The instructions is basically just graphs, continuing what we did yesterday. And number 1 reads f of x equals x squared, and only for domain from -2 to 2. Number 2 is parentheses x plus 4, close parentheses squared, plus, open parentheses y minus 1, close parentheses squared, equals to 1. Number 3 is g of x equals x cubed minus 5, only for domain from -1 to 1. And number 4 is f of x equals 2, or base 2, to the exponent of x, and only from domain from 0 to 2. So I'll give you some time for that. Copy and go. Morning. Also, when I call your name, bring me your progress report sign. So by now we know that a parent function for f of x equals x squared is a parabola, yes? And keeping it between -2 to 2, it makes it just, a certain part, nothing continuing on. However, this is a circle. Tell your neighbor the center of this circle. By now they should know the center of this circle. Tell your neighbor, please. Bless you. Let's see, Zachary, center. -4 and 1. Hands, have you got that? That is correct. So remember, the form is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals to r squared. So that means the number, if there's a negative here, you just take the number, that would be our h. Here's a negative, so the number right there is 1. That's why we wrote -4, 1. However, we need a radius. Tell you how to get the radius. Yeah, you take the square root of this number, which is 1. That means we plot our center at -4, 1, and then one step in all directions, one step that way, that way, that way, and that way, and that's how you create your circle. All right. Next, cubic. This is a cubic function, but this -5 is making it go in what direction? Tell your neighbor, what direction is this -5 going to take that cubic? Going in what direction, Lynn? Down. That is correct. But what if I asked you to do this? Look up. What if I said, okay guys, I don't want it to go down. I want it to go to the right. What do we need to do here to the entire function to make it go to the right? Talk it over to your neighbor, please. What do we need to do? Alright, I think Mario's got this. Good. Alright. Let's see, Mario, what do we need to do? Yes, we take away the exponent for right now. We put this in the parentheses. Now it's going to the right, is that correct? But it's a cubic, so I just put the cube outside. Okay. And the last one, it's an exponential base 2. That means it's going upward like this. And the points you should have written were 0, 1. This one was 1, 2. And this one was 2, 4. All right. All right. Agenda for today. Let's see. Warm-up number 92, exponential functions. Tonight's home plate, you're going to create an artwork using Desmos. And today we're going to do that activity here so you guys know exactly what to do. Alright. Let me pause this real quick. Alright. So, let's do a quick recap as you're turning that in. The different parent functions we covered so far. The first one, I'm going to start you off with linear. Don't copy this. This is just so that we can get all the ideas out. Linear looks like that, and it's f of x equals x. Another one, Pablo.
F of x equals x squared.
F of x equals x squared, and yes, that's a quadratic, and that's a parabola. Okay. Another one, Zachary. F of x equals x cubed. Yes, that one looks like this, and that's a cubic. Fatima, another one. F of x equals x to the fourth. It looks kind of like a parabola, but elongated like so. That's a quartic. Continue, Nicholas. What did we cover after that? Keyword fraction. Give me something with a fraction. Vince. A rational, which is 1 over x. Rational. And it looks like this. With asymptotes. But then we got to the other irrational, which is f of x equals 1 over x to the second. And that was a J and L with asymptotes like this. Okay. So let's see, linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic, rational. What are we missing? Daniel, which one are we missing? Yeah, the one from the last week, exponential. Looks like this, or like this. But I'm going to give you just for this one right now, which is f of x equals 2 to the x, or f of x equals 10 to the x. Those are the different functions. However, for the purpose of yesterday's card, I also gave you the circle that falls under a quadratic. And it looks like this. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals 2r squared. Which means if I was to make that into a circle, x minus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 9. My center would be what, everyone? 3 and 2, yes? And my radius would be square root of 9, which is 3. So place your center and a point 3 steps away from each of the centers. All right. So with that said, here's your assignment for today. To get you started, you need a blank sheet of paper, your own. And I want you to create an artwork. You can elaborate a little bit more elaborate than what we did yesterday. But keep this in mind. Don't make it too difficult, because I want you to actually create some artwork that you can apply functions to it. For example, I'm going to create one here really quick so you guys can get an idea as to what I'm talking about. Let's say I wanted to create a picture of Q. Here's Q. Can I create that with a function? Okay. Yes? 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 Some mustache, there it is. Could I create that with a function? Yeah, just put a negative in front of whatever function I want to use, yes? How about my hair? Can I create that with functions? What kind of functions are these? Tell your neighbor, please. Bless you. Yeah, f of equals negative x. But I use a certain domain so it can only show that part. How about muscles? Yes? You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Now, some of you are going to get a little bit more elaborate, but just keep in mind that you need to do some of those lines. They need to come from functions. Now, right now, I don't want equations. I just want you to create something on your paper. So I'll give you some time for that. So I'm going to leave the previous screen here, the one with all the functions that we talked about. There they are. Just keep in mind as you're creating your sketch, without any equations, just keep in mind those functions as to what can fit some of those curves or diagrams that you're going to make. Okay, I'll give you some time. How about 10 minutes? Yes? All right, go. All right, so set those sketches on the side. We'll get back to those in a little bit. So get your Chromebooks out, and I want you to go to student.desmos.com and use this code to log in, 722ED9. Student.desmos.com and type in 722ED9. And you should end up in a page where you have a parabola. Again, code 722ED9, and you need to go student.desmos.com. Make sure you write that down, that code, please. Write it on your paper because you're going to need that for tonight to finish up your artwork. So today, basically, I'm going to give you like the tools as to how to create sketches using functions. If you want to call it coding, that's fine. But we're going to use just functions and domains in order to create certain curves and such. But I want to walk you through a couple of things so that you can get used to and find out what you can change from what I give you. All right? So everybody should be on this screen right here. And it's showing a quadratic. Here it is. It's a parabola. And look at the function given, f of x equals x squared. Does everybody see that? However, if you notice right next to that function, there's a bracket or a solution set, and they give us a domain in inequality form. -2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2. So that means that they're only showing us the graph from where to where? From -2 of x all the way to +2. So watch. From -2 to +2. That's why we only see this piece. So this is what I want you to do before we move it in those directions that they're asking us. I want you to change the domain here to -1 to 1, and let's see what happens to that graph. Change the domain from -1 to 1. So to change it, you just need to click here, change it to -1, and this one to 1. And what do we notice? That it just is showing us the graph, but only from where? From -1 to 1. So let's say that was like the mouth of a whatever it is you're drawing. But let's say you wanted a little attitude of the mouth, so then I would go maybe from -1 to 2. Let's see what that looks like. Only, does everybody see that? Like, but I'm going to change it back to -2 to 2. There it is. All right. Change it back, please. All right. So that's how the domain works. In order to see only part of the graph, you need to use the domain or the x values that you want to see only of that function. But it says here, move the function 2 steps up. So look up. So here's my function. Place your cursor right there at the end of the exponent. Arrow to the right, so like that you're at that last space. And tell your neighbor what you need to type in there in order to move that function 2 steps up. And go ahead and type it in and see if it does what you were saying. Let's see. You should have done. Whoop. Sorry. You should have done +2. Did it move up 2 steps? Yes, there it is. All right. But instead of moving it up 2 steps, tell your neighbor to move it 5 steps down and tell them what to do. 5 steps down. Okay, so you should have done what? -5. And there it is. 5 steps down. How are we doing? Good? Okay. Now check this out. I want to move this to the right. But I can't use this same domain because if I move it to the right, notice that window where it's at right there. If I move it to the right, I'm only going to see a straight line because it's going to move out of the picture. So that means I want you to take away the domain for right now. Delete the domain. There it is. And now I want you to move it 5 steps to the right. Right now it's 5 steps down. Tell your neighbor what you need to change to this function in order to move that quadratic function to the right 5 steps. What do we need to do to move it to the right? What do you think, Vince? What do we do?
Still working on it.
Okay. What do we type in here to move it to the right? Male. In parentheses. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to start with the parentheses. X minus 5, close parentheses. And it's a quadratic, so I'm going to put an exponent of 2. There's a little keyboard over here with all the tools. And there it is. Did it move 5 to the right? Yes, it did, Mr. Q. But notice right now I don't have a domain. Look up. So if I zoom out, it keeps going and going and going. Oh, sorry. But what if I wanted for you to show me, look up. What if I wanted you to show me only from this portion right here, to cut it off right there? What X value shall we use for this portion? Talk it over to your neighbor. What value shall we use for only this portion right there? What? Once again, I only want this portion to show. That window. Tell your neighbor what we're going to type in right here. Bracket what? Let's see. Bracket what? Now, what do you think? What X values do we use? 3, okay. And 7. So we would write 3 less than or equal to X, less than or equal to 7. Close the bracket. That is correct. Type it in there and see what it looks like. So let's see. And now set bracket 3. And once again, here are the tools right here. Less than or equal to x. Whoop. Less than or equal to 7. Yep, there it is. Now it only shows that portion. Are we doing good? All right, let's go to the next screen. Go to next. It says here, move the function 3 steps to the right. So first thing I want you to do, look up, take off the domain for right now, and move that parent function 3 to the right. Tell your neighbor what to do to that function, please. 3 to the right. Some of you are still in the first one. Move to the next one, please. All right, Mario, what do I do to this to make it go 3 to the right? Parentheses. X minus 3 to the was it to the second? To the third. So we go here to A to the B power and type in a 3. Hands, have you got that? Okay. All right. Next, look up. I only want you to show me, look up, let me use my highlighter. I only want you to show me this window right here. Tell your neighbor what domain we're going to type in right here, right after the exponent. All right, Kevin, go. Bracket. Oh, 2. Less than or equal to x. Less than or equal to 4. Hands, have you got that? That is correct. Type it in there and see if it does what we said it would do. All right. So let's see. Bracket 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to, what was it, 4? 4. Okay. How are we doing? Yes? Hands, have you got that? Okay, now watch. What if I wanted to use this as part of my design, but it needed to be stretched like this? Think about it. Right now it's kind of like wide, isn't it? What can I do to this function to make it stretch vertically? Talk about the neighbor. What can I do to make it stretch vertically? All right, Samantha, what do we do? What is it? Change the function. So what would I change? And remember, now we're looking at A. Is that correct? So what do I type in there, Jessica? A number? A whole number, yes. So I'm going to type in, give me a number. 4. Yes, it stretches. There it is. Let me zoom out. It's still within that domain, but now it's stretched it. What if I didn't want to stretch? I wanted wider. What would I type in there? Tell your neighbor, please. A fraction or decimal, yes? So give me a decimal, Kevin. 0.5. Yeah, there it is. All right, let's go to the next window. Next. Okay, this is a linear. We're going to change this one to a quadratic. So I want you to erase everything except just leave f of x equals. But look, they want us to move the function 2 steps to the left and 4 steps down as a quadratic. So what would you type in there? Talk it over your neighbor. What would you type in there? 2 steps to the left, 4 steps down, and it's a quadratic. What would we need to type in there? Two steps left, 4 steps down, quadratic. All right, I think Pablo's got it. Go. Parentheses. Plus 2, close parentheses, squared. And then minus 4. Let's see. Did it move 2 to the left and 4 down? Yes, there it is. However, look up. I only want to see bless you. I only want to see this window right here. Tell your neighbor what domain we're going to add to only see this part. All right. So what do we add here? Chaining. Bracket. Hands, have you got that? Yeah, the domain is from -4, less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 0, and we would only see that part. Okay. All right, let's go to the next window. Now look at this one. We have 3 different functions. Now the reason I'm going here is because right now when you create your artwork that you drew on paper, now you're going to do it electronically. This is what I want you to do. Look up. You're going to type in one function and focus on that one. You're like, but Mr. Q, looks so much here. Okay, then turn them off. How do I turn them off? Look up. I click on the little globe with the color of the function. Turn it off and turn it off. And that makes me focus just on one function to make it change whichever direction I want it to change. Does that make sense? So if I wanted to move this one or see only the domain from -2 to 2, remember, we can't type in interval notation. It has to be in what? In set notation. Does everybody know what to do from here? Yes? Once you're done showing that part, for example, I would show set -2 less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 2. And there it is. It's just showing me that part. And then I wanted to go to the next one. I click on the next one, turn that one off so I don't get too confused with the screen, and focus on that one, whatever I need to do. Does that make sense? Yes, thank you. All right, for the sake of time, go to the last screen, and it says, sketch your artwork that you did on paper using functions now in here. Start with one piece at a time. So look at your artwork. See if you can translate that using different functions. All right? And remember, copy this code, 722ED9, because you're going to need that to finish up your artwork tonight. Those of you who are watching online, you can use that same code if you want to join us and continue with your project there. I'm going to stop the video here, and for those of you here in class, I'm going to give you the rest of the period to finish. Let's continue. Good one, guys. Peace.